All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another interesting session in biochemistry where we'll be looking at glycolysis. Okay, this is your host Morgan Epika Izolukama Jr. Ensure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the notification button for more educative video. Okay, so to start with, we'll be looking at glycolysis and the pathways as well as the overview. So what is glycolysis? Glycolysis is just a process by which glucose is broken down to form pyruvate. And you must understand that there are 10 enzymatic reactions that occur within before pyruvate is formed from the breaking down of glucose. Okay, so um, glycolysis, as it has stated here, so glycolysis, it is just the life process part where we'll be looking at glycolysis, the Krebs cycle, and the etc reaction. Okay, so the first phase of glycolysis, the first five reaction of the glycolysis, we call it investing phase. Remember, there are 10 enzymatic reactions. So the first five are called investing phase or the preparatory phase, of which we invest 2 ATP, which is the adenosine triphosphate. We invest 2 ATP. Then the last phase, we usually call it as in the payoff phase because we yield or we get 4 ATP plus 2 NADH and hydrogen ion. So in here we have the ATP, therefore adenosine triphosphate plus 2 nicotinamide dihydrogen and hydrogen ion. All right, okay, so let's get started. The first phase, okay, how are these 10 enzymatic reaction of glycolysis undergo? So we have glucose that is being broken down by the enzyme called exokinase. We invest in 1 ATP molecule, which gives us 1 ADP, which is adenosine diphosphate. Then the end product is glucose 6-phosphate. Okay. Then in reaction number 2, glucose 6-phosphate goes in through the reversible reaction where it is being catalyzed by phosphoglucose isomerase, okay, or glucose 6-phosphate isomerase. Then the product is fructose 6-phosphate. That is reaction number 2. Then reaction number 3, we have fructose 6-phosphate plus ATP giving us fructose 1,6 bisphosphate and ATP, which is adenosine diphosphate. Okay, so that is reaction number 3. And then the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is phosphofructokinase. So phosphofructokinase, that's the enzyme. Then reaction number 4, we have fructose 1,6 bisphosphate undergoing a reversible reaction where it gives us what we call dihydroxyl adenosine phosphate, adenosine phosphate plus glycerolhaldehyde 3-phosphate. Then the enzyme that does this reaction, it is called aldolase. Yes. Then the fifth reaction, we have dihydroxyl adenine phosphate. It undergoes a reversible reaction where it gives us glycerolhaldehyde 3-phosphate, which is reaction number 5. Okay, so these are the first 5 reactions of glycolysis. Then and that is what we call the preparatory phase or the investment phase. Remember, we've only invested 2 ATP on reaction number 1 where glucose is converted to form glucose 6-phosphate, and reaction number 3 where fructose 6-phosphate is broken down to give us fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Okay, then let's look at the payoff phase. So the payoff phase starts with glycerolhaldehyde 3-phosphate, which is reaction number 6, giving us 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate. Then the enzyme that does this reaction, it is called the triose isomerase or glycerolhaldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Okay, then we have the 7th reaction where 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate goes in with 2 ADP to give us 3-phosphoglycerate. and 2 ATP molecule. Okay, so this is on reaction number 7. This is where we get the first 2 ATP that we had invested. Then the enzyme that does this, that catalyze this reaction is called phosphoglycolate kinase. Okay. Then reaction number 8, this is where we get to have 3-phosphoglycolate is being converted to form 2-phosphoglycolate. This is the reversible reaction, and then the enzyme that does this, the conversion of 3-phosphoglycolate to 2-phosphoglycolate, it is called phosphoglycolate mutase. Okay, then reaction number 9, we have 2-phosphoglycolate, which is catalyzed through a reversible reaction by the enzyme that is called enorase, and then this gives us phosphoenolpyruvate. Okay, and then reaction number 10, we get to have phosphoenolpyruvate going into the reaction. It goes into a forward reaction, and then it reacts with 2 ATP molecule to give us 2 ATP molecule plus pyruvate. Okay, then the enzyme that does the conversion of this 10th reaction in the payoff phase, it is called pyruvate kinase, and then we've now healed pyruvate. Remember the definition for glycolysis. I said glycolysis is the process by which glucose is broken down to form pyruvate. Now we have the pyruvate. Okay, now you need to understand that this pyruvate that is being formed here, it cannot enter the matrix of the mitochondria. Why? Because it is insoluble, so it must be converted to form acetyl-CoA by the enzyme that is called pyruvate dehydrogenase, which is a triose enzyme. Okay, then this is just the diagrammatic way of showing these biochemical reactions that occur within the all processes of what I've just gone through, the preparatory phase as well as the investment phase. Then we are now coming to the regulation of glycolysis. So regulation, how is this glycolysis regulated? Remember, regulation we are referring to activators and inhibitors. When I say activators, these are things that activate the reaction to go through. Then inhibitors, these are things that inhibit the reaction not to occur. So the first part, which we'll look at the allosteric regulation as well as the hormonal regulation. So glucose, the conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate, it is being activated, it is being inhibited or stopped by an enzyme called glucokinase. Okay, so glucokinase deactivate or inhibits the conversion of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. Again, if we were to reverse it, like on a reversal, when we start looking at gluconeogenesis, where glucose 6-phosphate cannot form glucose, the enzyme that does the inhibition is called exokinase. Okay, now again we must understand that on reaction number 3, where we have fructose 6-phosphate, remember the enzyme that usually catalyze this reaction is fructose phosphofructokinase 1. So the inhibitor there, it is ATP, adenosine triphosphate, as well as citrate. Then the activator are ADP, AMP, and fructose 2,6 bisphosphate. Those are activators. Then the conversion of fructose 1,6 bisphosphate to give us what we call phosphoenolpyruvate there. This one, the activators here, so in here this is where the feed forward, this one is just the feed forward. Then on reaction number 10, where we have phosphoenolpyruvate to give us pyruvate, here we'll see to say that the activators for this reaction, the inhibitors, let's start with the inhibitors. Inhibitors are ATP as well as what? Acetyl-CoA and alanine. Okay, so those are the inhibitors on the allosteric regulation. Now let's look at the hormonal regulation. Under hormonal regulation, you realize that the conversion of glucose to form glucose 6-phosphate, it is being activated by what? Insulin, and it is being deactivated or inhibited by glucagon. Then again, when you look at the conversion on the third reaction, the conversion of fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, by the enzyme called phosphofructokinase. The activator is insulin. Then the inhibitor is glucagon again. Okay. Then on reaction number 10, the conversion of phosphoenolpyruvate to pyruvate. The enzyme that does this conversion. It's called pyruvate kinase. The activator is insulin. Then the inhibitor, it is glucagon under the hormonal regulation. Okay. Then now, and I said you have to learn all the 10 steps of glycolysis for your exams. This has been your host, Morgan Epika Izolukama Jr. Ensure to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more interesting videos in biochemistry as well as other medical videos. Shalom.